Well, good afternoon, our beloved viewers, and welcome to our Lunch Hour program. My name is Edwin, and I'm delighted to host you this afternoon. Now, on the set today, I am joined by a very special guest. Her name is Anne Wangoi. Now, Anne is a counseling psychologist by profession. She's a graduate of Africa International University, and currently she's working on a government-run program. Now, the reason why we invited Anne to be our guest in our show today is because she has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to matters relating family and parenting. So to those of you who are parents, you know very well that there are many challenges that come with raising children, especially in our modern society. So today we want to find out, why has parenting become so difficult? But before we go there, I want to remind you that this is the Hour of Hope, a show that comes to you every Tuesday and every Thursday between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. And again, we remind you that this show is designed to inspire and birth hope in the hearts of men so that we may be able to live out our potential. So again, karibu sana to our show. So Anne, how are you?
I'm fine.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Please take a minute and say hi to our viewers.
Good afternoon, viewers. As you've heard, my name is Anne Wangoi. I am a counseling psychologist by profession, and I'm also a parent. And thank you for having me today.
Karibu sana. Thank you. So Anne, first and foremost, you are one, isn't it?
Yes.
You're married, and by the way, tell your husband thank you for allowing you to come today.
Yes.
You're a mother of 4 children, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when it comes to parenting, this is something that you have a hands-on experience with, right?
Yeah.
And we really want to know in our show today, why is parenting so challenging? What is it about raising our children today that has become so difficult?
Over time, parenting has changed.
Yes.
It has changed gradually. And I would say technology is one of the main, not the main reason as such, but it's a reason as to why parenting has changed.
Yes.
We also have the traditional family. A lot has changed.
Yeah.
It's not the same way that we grew up.
Yes.
We grew up next to our grandparents, our aunties, our uncles, an extended family.
Again, we apologize for the few technical hitches we have had with our sound, but I know that our technicians are working hard behind the scenes to make sure that our show runs smoothly. So before we went for a break, my aunt and I were talking about some of the few parenting styles that are out there, and she mentioned a bit about the authoritarian kind of parenting. And what basically we have said in a nutshell is that if we are going to raise our children well in this generation, we have to rethink these parenting styles. There are things we can pick from our parents, but also there are things we need to adjust, isn't it?
Yes, very right. And I want to say this. Nowadays, parents, it seems the permissive style of parenting is really messing up our children. Whereby we allow children to have everything and anything that they want. And when they can't have them, they throw tantrums. They don't understand, because that is how you've trained them. Life doesn't give you everything that you want. Yes. So we are raising children who don't even want to move away from home. They want to be in our homes even when they are 25 and above, because there is comfort. There is everything I want, everything I need. I can eat and leave my plate there. The house help will come in.
We are not raising strong, independent children.
And responsible children. It is very important, because at the end of the day, these children will move away. What if they get a job away from home? From one city, they move to another city. You know, we are helping them to become responsible for their own lives. You know, we are helping them to even understand that jobs don't come as easy.
No.
Yes.
There are tough times.
There are tough times. I will go and meet with a boss who just behaves the way they want. You know, do they have the resilience? Our children don't have resilience.
You reminded
nowadays.
me of a post by Robert Burale on Facebook. He said that we are raising our children with Cerelac, giving them a soft life, but by doing so, we are incapacitating them in the sense they don't have the ability to handle the tough times of life. And I think he has a point.
Exactly.
Because if you don't expose your child to a little bit of toughness. Like,
Yes.
just tell them life is not a bed of roses.
Exactly.
You know, just
Yeah.
be honest with them.
Yeah.
And allow them sometimes to solve their own problems.
Yeah.
Allow them sometimes to come up with a solution to their own problems.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you're too hands-on, you want to solve all your children's problems. You don't want them to go through pain, heartache, but
Yeah.
you're incapacitating them.
Yes.
It's like an egg. When a chick is about to hatch,
Yeah.
if you break the shell from the outside,
Yes.
the life of the chick ends.
And exactly.
But if you allow the chick to struggle,
Yeah.
that's how it builds the muscle.
Yes.
And it's able to
Yeah.
you get. So sometimes we have to be, let us not be too soft with our children.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
But I also think that even as we teach them the hard life, we need to be involved in the lives of our children for a number of years, because children mature at around 24 years old.
Yeah.
That is when you can say, now I trust this person can be on their own.
Yeah.
They can do, they are responsible.
Yeah.
Sometimes when they finish Form 4, we think now we are done.
Yeah.
Now sasa ni watu wazima.
Yeah.
You know, we need to keep on following, even if not so closely. Keep on understanding, what is my child doing out there?
Yeah.
When it comes to careers, how am I helping this child? You
Yeah.
know, I don't mean that we impose on what they should do after school.
Yeah.
I mean in college and university.
Yeah.
That is not what I mean. But please, when a child says, I want to do IT, take them for guidance. There's career guidance.
Yeah.
You know, we have relatives, family, friends who probably are in IT. Let them have someone to help them, because sometimes they make decisions and then along the way they feel like, no, this is not the course I wanted. But again, don't impose, because I have met so many young people who are doing their degree for their parents and they tell you outright,
Yeah.
I'm doing this degree, then niwapeleke. It's not for me.
The heart is not into it.
Yes, the heart is not into it.
Yeah.
Let us know and understand our children's capacity.
Yeah.
You know, the word of God says, bring up a child in the way they should go.
Yeah.
And so many of us see it in the line of discipline only.
Yeah.
It's not just about discipline. It's about what career, what profession do I want to, you know, which path am I taking in life?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think even as we harden them and teach them to be responsible, let us follow from a distance.
Yeah.
Let us not just throw them, umekuwa wazima sasa we tembea.
Yeah.
Sometimes their hustling life is so hard for them, you know, and sometimes they make the wrong decisions. Yes.
So what do you say to a parent who has a rebellious child?
Yes.
Someone who just outrightly doesn't want to go to school.
Yeah.
Hataki kusoma.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be told what to do.
Yes.
How do you deal with a rebellious child? Because we have had those cases.
Yes.
Whereby parents have come to us and told us, my child doesn't want to go to school.
Yeah.
He skips class. He's into drugs.
Yeah.
He's into rioting. As a parent, what do you do?
It is always important. As a counselor, I believe people don't just wake up and behave the way they behave. There are so many underlying issues that would push someone to decide, I don't want school.
Yeah.
Okay? Sometimes out of the use of drugs, especially bang, children lose motivation. They are no longer motivated. You see that young boy who used to say, "Mi nataka kuwa electric engineer," you know, they no longer have it.
Yeah.
Okay. So let us understand, what are the underlying issues?
Yeah.
Where did this emanate from? You know, you just don't wake up one day and decide, I'm going to smoke bang. And sometimes I say, I know kids can be very crafty, but sometimes I say, where have we been as parents?
Yeah.
We are not involved in their lives, so they sleep slowly by slowly because we are very busy.
Sometimes I see, and this is very common.
Yes.
Nowadays, many children are not raised in a functional home.
Yes.
Maybe it's a single mom.
Yes.
She's working
Yeah.
6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yes.
If she doesn't work, there's no bread on the table.
Very true.
So she's working. She doesn't have a husband.
Yeah.
And she's not a hands-on parent.
Yeah.
So circumstances make her not be a hands-on parent.
Yes.
So what do you say to that parent?
This is what I believe. It all boils down to when these kids were young.
Yeah.
It all boils down to that.
Yeah.
Because when you instill values, moral discipline when they are young, then it will be easier during the adolescent years, during their teen years, and during their young adult years. Okay, I know of single parents who are doing very well. Their children are well disciplined, because they have taken and embraced, yes, I'm a single mom, but it's not the end of life. I have a dad who can step in as a father figure for my children. I have a responsible brother who can step in, because sometimes it's so hard doing it alone. So they've accepted this is where I am, but where I am doesn't define. My children don't have to misbehave just because I'm a single parent.
And to that parent who said, okay, I admit I've made a mistake.
Yes.
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I did not bond with my child. Yeah. But now I'm in a crisis. Yeah. What do I do?
It's very important to, like you have said, I understand, accept this is where I am at.
Yeah.
This went wrong.
Yes.
Okay. But it's not the end of life. There's a second chance. For everyone, there's a second chance. Let them start by bringing their children close to them. Don't force it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you force it, they're thinking, okay, what are you investigating?
You cannot force
exactly.
teenagers.
You cannot force teenagers.
Yeah.
But you can try and reach out to your children. Bring them close. Just go out with them. You don't have to go out as a family. Go out with this one particular child. Show them love. Affirm them. Yes, you're not doing well in your studies, but I think you can do better. Encourage them, give encouragement, okay? Yeah. Don't throw them away, okay? Don't throw them away. There is hope for every child.
Yeah.
Take them for counseling. Embrace, I think in our African society, we have not yet really embraced counseling.
Yeah.
And I've seen that parents who bring their children for counseling is because they were expelled or suspended from school. And the letter demands you go for these sessions.
Or maybe because they've reached their end.
Exactly.
Yeah. They have exhausted every means to try to correct that child. But one of the things parents need to understand is sometimes a problem that has developed over 15 years cannot be resolved in 4 sessions.
Very true. Very true.
Because sometimes when they bring children for counseling, they think that it's a magic cure.
Exactly.
But 10 years of wrong parenting cannot be solved in 4 sessions.
Exactly.
It will take a bit of time for that child's mind to be renewed to get to the point whereby they are sober. One of the things I normally tell parents is this. Every child goes through a phase of rebellion.
Yes.
Even those that are raised well.
Well, very true.
They have a phase of rebellion and identity crisis. Yeah. But again, like you said, the foundation matters.
Yes.
So one of the things we do in our counseling is we encourage the parents, don't give up on him.
Yes.
Don't give up on her, no matter how bad it is.
Yes.
Because people do change.
Yeah.
And we know we ourselves went through that stage of rebellion.
Yes.
That phase of rebellion.
Yes.
But then by the grace of God, we did change.
Yeah.
The most important thing is don't sweep things under the carpet.
Yes.
Be proactive.
Yeah.
Be hands-on.
Yeah.
And understand it's going to take time.
Yeah.
But eventually, if you're consistent, things will work out, isn't it?
Yes. I also want to believe that in the African setup or the African culture, parents don't own up to their mistakes. It is okay to tell your child, I am sorry.
Yeah.
I know here and there, I was never there for you.
Yeah.
There are things that I didn't do right.
Yeah.
I am sorry. And when we start from there, the child warms up to you.
Yes.
The fact that you've come down to their level and we always think it's always the child who is wrong, always the child who is wrong. No. Sometimes we are wrong as parents.
It takes two to tango.
Yes.
There is the issue of parenting, there is the issue of the children.
Yeah.
Parents most of the time think it's always the child who's in the wrong.
Yes.
But it goes both ways.
Yeah.
And this is, again, a huge issue because, like you mentioned, when we started the show, social media does play a role, especially how our children behave.
Yes.
So there's a negative aspect of it, there's a positive.
Yeah.
So we normally say social media is like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It can cut well, it can cut wrong.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges you've seen in your line of work when it comes to how social media is affecting young people?
Yeah. Social media, number one, is really affecting our children in terms of their self-esteem.
Yeah.
They see people, influencers, and I'm not saying all influencers are bad.
Yeah.
They see what people are posting on social media and they think, oh, this one has a life, I don't have a life. Just because someone took a photo in front of a Benz or a Range Rover doesn't mean they own it.
True.
There's that life that these children are really trying,
Yeah.
and a class that they are looking for.
Yeah.
They want to go to school and tell people, as we live, we do, they are trying to race, they're trying to be at par, and they don't understand this is where I am right now, and I can work myself to where I want to.
And what you're saying is true, because social media, 90% of it is fake.
It's fake.
Yes,
but it's a young mind, doesn't understand it's fake.
And the challenge with young people is this: when you're going through that teenage phase, you go through an identity crisis. That means you want to know who you are. So when you tune into IG, Instagram, now you want to identify with that influencer,
exactly,
that person,
and
you don't understand social media is fake. So you're trying to live up a life that doesn't exist.
Yes.
And more so with social media, I realize that social media has become the reference point for many young people.
Yes.
In fact, the voice of the parent has been drowned by the voice of social media.
Yes.
So parents are having a difficult time talking to their kids. So at what age should a child have a phone?
Wow. At what age should a child have a phone? This is my personal opinion. When our children have phones, there's a way we can control those phones.
Yeah.
There are apps and other things that we can do just to know which sites are they visiting, okay? But I believe the earlier I give my child a phone, not so early, when they are done with their class 8 and going to Form 1, they can access a phone. This is me, okay? This is why. This is the reason I'm saying this. I will train and teach my child how to use that phone. I will control it, okay? Like, you're not going to bed with your phone. It's time to go to bed. Leave the phone here. We are going to church. You can't carry your phone. Because this is what I believe. They will learn a lot from me concerning about using their phone. What is the importance of a phone? Because when they get to 18 and I give them the phone, they are curious, I can no longer control a child. When they are 18, now they are responsible. They have their life. They are adults. If they want to use their phone throughout the night, so I believe when I give it to them, when they are joining Form 1, I'm able to teach them. On this phone, you can watch a lot of dirty stuff, I want to help them understand, how do I use this phone? And like giving them now, they're done with them and they're curious, they're always on their phones, they don't put them down. But even as we give them the phones, let us be vigilant. What is it they are watching? They're not supposed to join social media until they are 18.
But most of their friends are in social media.
I know. But those are their friends,
But peer pressure is real, Anne.
Very real.
And you realize that because their friends talk to them about, are you on IG?
Yeah.
Can we talk on IG?
Yeah.
So the pressure is real.
Yeah.
And of course, most of them are on social media because they want to know how to dance, the latest dance move, listen to their music and all of that.
Yeah.
So yes, I think when it comes to the age you give your child a phone is relative to the parent.
To the parent.
The most important thing is the measures in place.
Exactly.
One of the things I was sharing with some parents, I told them the good thing with phones, there are measures, filters you can put in place.
Very true.
That if your child tries to access a certain website, it sends a message to your phone.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you have a level of control.
Yeah.
You may not have absolute control, but you have a level of control.
Yeah.
So what you teach them, by the way, action speaks louder than words.
Yeah.
So if you are always on your phone, you can't tell your child
not to be on your phone. Exactly.
Another thing I think is important to address nowadays, every home has a Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi means you don't buy bundles.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have access to internet 24/7.
Yes.
So many young people are on their phones. They are not playing outside. You get
very true.
Yeah. They are not playing.
They no longer do sports.
Active.
They are not active. They just sit.
Yeah.
There's nothing they're doing.
Because social media is very addictive.
Yes.
It's like a drug.
Yes.
And the more you watch, the more you want to watch.
Yeah.
So they get more fun watching than being physically active.
Yeah.
So the challenging things, the challenges this generation of parents are facing is this: how do I get my child out to play?
Yeah.
what did you tell to that parent?
Growing up, we grew up playing.
Yes.
You know, we didn't even, actually it would get to 7 p.m. and people are still outside playing, you know?
Yeah.
So nowadays we need to strike a balance. We really need to strike a balance, because even you yourself, if you're on the seat on the couch the whole day, you have no moral authority to tell your child that you need to go out and play.
Yeah.
People can go out as family, go take walks, ride bikes, go to Karura Forest, take walks.
Yeah.
Okay?
You and another challenge, sorry to cut you short, with the modern housing, and we've shared this with you. Many people are building up rental homes, but there's no playground.
There's no field for
Isn't it? So downstairs is parking, upstairs is houses. So kids, really, it's either Netflix, television, or their phone. So again, the way, you see, when we were growing up, we had large spaces to play. Right? And we would leave home in the morning, come home late, because there was no things like kidnapping, video files.
It was a bit safe.
But nowadays it's a sick society. If you send your son or your daughter to the shop and they talk to a stranger, you panic because you don't know who that person is. So the modern times you're living in are also putting a restriction on the kind of entertainment our children can have. But I love what you say, be proactive. If it's on a Saturday morning, take a walk with your child. Let him ride the bike.
Exactly.
Right?
We also have sports clubs.
Sports clubs.
You can take them somewhere to play football.
I
know it is work, dropping them, picking them up, you know. But there are clubs out there. They can go play basketball. Make sure your child is active. Also have boundaries. If you don't have boundaries, you're done. If we agree after 7 we're not using phones, it's dinner time. We are having dinner and that's the end of phones. Let us keep these phones away. And you know, stick to it. Let
me tell you, if your child has been used to using phone, and then all of a sudden you tell them you're not going to use phone, they throw a tantrum.
They have withdrawal symptoms.
You realize that? They throw tantrums. There was a video that was trending. A single mom had taken the child, was it a PlayStation or a phone? Man, when she came back, the boy had broken everything in the house. Because phone addiction is real.
It's real.
Just like drug addiction, just like chemical addiction and behavioral addiction. So if you don't strike that balance, there can be a problem. So one of the mistakes we make as parents, and I've made that mistake, if you're in church or in a public event, because you want your child to quiet down, phone. So we feed the addiction, we feed the monster too early, isn't it?
And it's so unfortunate because now it has escalated to the point that our children don't know how to communicate one-on-one with their friends. When we go visit friends, every child is on phone. When we go for family meetings, every child is on phone.
They don't talk.
And I know of a grandma who, when the kids are going for the family meeting, the moment you hit that gate, they hug you, they say hi, then they phone.
I think I should
The grandmother keeps all those phones
that's
until
awesome. Be a hands-on parent. If you're going to give your child a phone, have a level of control. In Isimu, like before I give it to you, you're gonna do A, B, C, D. Right? That is amazing.
Yes, and I also believe our children are very smart nowadays. I know children, when you don't give them your password, they will go to the neighbors' kids and they will have the password from the neighbors, you know.
For the Wi-Fi.
For the Wi-Fi.
You don't even need a password. You just need to scan the QR code.
And that's it. And that's it, you know. So we really need to understand that our children are smart. Number one, they are smart.
They're very intelligent.
And they can outsmart us.
And you know what else they do? They are very manipulative.
Yes, very.
They know our psychology.
Very.
They make better psychologists than we do. They know which button to push, who to go to when they want to have their ways. So if you sleep on your job as a parent, you realize that your child is having his or her way. And the reason, again, we're having this conversation, our viewers, is because we have seen in this generation, many parents are in, distress. Because, they don't understand what is happening. And we need to come up with a template. We need to come up with some form of a manual, if you may, that can form a guideline on how we can make parenting easier. When we were growing up, it was easy.
It was easy.
wewe ukiamka kunywa chai unaenda kucheza hadi kuji lunch.
Exactly.
By 6 uko home, umekuja na majani ya rabbit, whatever you get.
Very true.
And you eat, you sleep, and you do your chores, you go to school. But nowadays, it's not as easy as that.
It's not as easy. Urbanization. Children have to go to school, to attend school far from their homes.
Way earlier.
They wake up way earlier, and they come in late.
And they are stressed out.
They are stressed out. Parents are stuck in the jam. You know? So the quality time we were talking about, the work-life imbalance, it is, you have to purpose. You have to be intentional. Yes, Monday to Friday, we don't have such quality time, but I purpose over the weekends. People leave work, they go to their side hustle. Others leave work, they go for classes. And you have children at home waiting for you. You know, it becomes very tricky. It becomes very hectic. Very hectic.
And of course, you know, with our phones, even parents are addicted to their phones.
Yeah.
It has happened to all of us.
Yes.
You know, when you leave your home, and you forget your phone, you feel empty.
Yeah, you feel empty. People go back home.
You come, not because it's really something important, but you're just addicted every so often.
You think you'll miss out.
When you go to a restaurant, what's the first thing you ask for?
The Wi-Fi. Yeah, do you have a Wi-Fi?
It's the craziest thing. Even matatus nowadays have Wi-Fi. Yeah. There are hotspots everywhere. Yes, internet is good. It has brought a lot of opportunity, but at the same time, it has brought a lot of ills.
Yeah.
And one of the things we see with young people, and I know you agree with me, is young people are dealing with issues like depression.
Yeah. A lot.
Depression is very real.
A lot.
Because some girls have body image issues. They compare themselves with their peers.
Yeah.
And some of the young people are being introduced to sexuality way too early.
Way too early.
And getting the information from the wrong platforms.
Yeah.
So as a parent, if you're not hands-on, you realize that your children may be going through something that you don't know about it.
Exactly.
But it's a crisis.
And this is what, as we talk about parenting, I know sometimes we think provide, nurture.
Take the kid to
There's
school.
something about protection that parents need to understand. That it is your responsibility to make sure that your children are safe. It's a big issue. It's a big thing nowadays. Who is talking to your child? You know, who is talking to your child? Who are your neighbors? It is known that the people who abuse children are people known to known to the kid very well. Okay? He's not a stranger. He's not someone from far away.
It's a relative.
It's a relative.
It's a close family friend. It's an uncle.
Yes. Okay? So when it comes to protection, parents need to be very alert. Who is this that I've invited to my house? A cousin. They come and live because they go to campus near my home, you know? I would rather, where possible, rent them a house, because you need to be very sure who is this person.
Let me tell you.
You need to teach your children how to protect themselves.
I agree with you.
Yes.
Even sleepovers. Sleepovers can be a crazy place, because again, when your child goes over for a sleepover, you can't control who comes into that house.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So you really need to know those people very well.
Very well.
Make sure your values are in alignment.
Exactly.
Because like you said, people who defile children are people who, they are not strangers.
They are not strangers.
If it's a stranger, the child will scream. It's an uncle. It's a family friend. It's an older cousin.
And we also need to be very aware. How do they do it? They start by befriending this child. They groom them. They buy them sweets. They treat them special. They tell them, come and use my phone. You know, and phones is a big thing for a child.
It's a big attraction.
Exactly. It's a big attraction. So parents need to know that, yes, you've provided, you've paid school fees, protection. You need to be very aware. When we are sending our children, we shall go. Wakifunga shule, the first thing you think, how they are going to travel home.
I know.
And people notice a new child.
Of course.
A naive one. And they can easily entice them.
And let me tell you,
care of
when you
children?
take them to your grandparents, do you know your grandparents have raised you? They won't be hands-on.
They won't be hands-on.
So they won't be able to pick up those things.
Yeah.
So again, we have to rethink this thing all over, because the days we are living in are not the days we grew up in.
Exactly.
Times have changed.
Things have changed.
And there's a lot of bad things happening. And many young people are dealing with predators, sexual predators, pedophiles. Even in boarding schools. Boarding schools is no longer a safe zone. Because again, when your child goes to a boarding school, you don't know who they are being exposed to. So what you said is key. As a parent, if you have that conversation with your child early on, no matter where that child goes, the voice of the parent will always be the reference point. My mom said, my dad said. And that, of course, will be like a cover and a shield. As far as your child is concerned. And so praying for them.
Praying for them. Yes.
Praying is important.
It is very important. If you're not praying for your child, chances are no one else is.
In fact, who else will?
No one else is. It is your responsibility to pray for them. The word of God says, bring them up in the ways of the Lord. Okay? It is important to let them go to church. And when they grow up, they'll make that choice and that decision. Do I really want to go or, But I know when you give them the foundation, the most important thing is give them a foundation and give them a godly foundation.
I've shared this with you. My grandma, I remember because she raised me. She used to pray literally every night. And she would call out her children by name.
Yes.
And even though we strayed a bit, but we still came back.
At the end of the day.
So what we're saying is prayer does work. And the earlier you start, the better it is. And more so, if your children can hear you pray for them, it leaves an imprint on them. Because again, as much as we are their parents, God, our Heavenly Father, cares for them even much.
Exactly. And He has the power to watch over them, to keep them safe. Even as you do what is humanly possible, you leave the rest to God.
That is amazing.
Yes.
And this topic on parenting is so broad.
Very.
We can't exhaust it.
Exactly.
But I really hope in our show today, because of our limited time, we'll be able to answer some of the few questions that maybe you may be having there. And I know definitely I will have Counselor Anne back. It's like, sorry, Counselor Edwin, psychologist Anne, forgive me.
It's okay.
I'll have her back because, like I say, she's a wealth of knowledge and matters. Again, we apologize for the technical hitches we had initially, and I know our technical team is working hard to make sure that these issues do not persist. And part in short. Yeah.
I want to say what I said in the beginning, that we are not perfect parents, and it is okay. But let people understand there are opportunities for us to learn and grow in the area of parenting every day. There are seminars out there in churches, purpose to attend. Books. All over there we have books.
Vlogs.
Exactly.
YouTube.
Yes.
Dr. James Dobson.
Purpose to learn. My child is going to the next level. What should I do? And also, there is no formula. So your instincts are number one.
I love that.
When it comes to parenting, instincts, they just kick in.
If there's an instinct, something is not okay. Listen to your instinct.
Listen to instinct. Yes. And as I said, let us be the role models. Number one.
And you know something else, Anne, as you conclude your parting shot, how you raise them will form the pattern of how they'll raise their children.
Generations to come.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So you have to ask yourself, is the way I'm raising my child the way I want them to raise their kids, your grandkids?
Yes.
So that imprint is in their minds. This is the template my parents gave me. That's the template they will use. So if you familiarize them with toxicity, toxicity becomes familiar to them. There's something you say to me, you say the mind is always comfortable with the familiar. So if you raised your child in a toxic family environment,
they will go looking for
that to them will be there.
That's the norm.
But if you raise them in a functional home, to them functionality is what works. So if they see anything that does not represent functionality, they run away from that. I will invite you another time when we talk about how to prepare your kids to dating and relationship, because I know that is a broad subject. That is a subject many parents stray away from. They don't want to talk to their children about dating. How do you prepare your daughter, your son on dating, the do's and the don'ts and everything? And I'm sure that it will be amazing. So Have you concluded your parting shot?
Yes, I have.
Have you enjoyed our show?
Yes.
Ukienda nyumbani mwambie bwanako asante.
I will.
Because he allowed you to come.
Yes.
And also tell him I would love to have him on our show.
Thank you.
So again, this is my parting shot. Listen, parenting doesn't have to be difficult. I'm sure there are challenges to it. And I know it's not easy, but it is doable. Let us not give up on our sons. Let us not give up on our daughters. If it gets too difficult, ask for help. Cry out for help. And help will be made available to you. We remind you this is the Hour of Hope, a show that comes to you every Tuesday, Thursday between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. where we talk about issues that have to do with our day-to-day living. But from Dinkes Tai Online Parish, we want to tell you we love you, we are praying for you, but until next time, God bless you.